folks, today we're back. We got some brews in the shed. I'm wearing this shirt just for Mr. Right, you know who you are. I hope you're back to work by the time you see this. And today we're going to install the scan gauge into the Landcruiser so we can check all our temperatures while we're cruising and see what our codes are when they get thrown up. Righto. So this is the package it comes in. Got some user manuals. We've got the cable and this is the gauge that we'll be installing. One plug on the back. Looks pretty simple. Right, the first thing we've got to do is locate the ADB connector under the dash, and that's what this will plug into. So let's see if we can't find it. So the ADB connector is under the dash on the Landcruiser 200. It's pretty simple to find, and it's right just there, so not too hard to find at all. So we'll go about plugging the cable in and routing the cable to where we want the scan gauge to go. And that's it, plugged in. Simple as that. And now we'll go about routing the cable and working out where we want to put the gauge. So we just need to pull this bit out of the way, and we've got a screw to pull out just here, and then we can pull this bit off here. It just clips off, but we can pull this bit out here. And then we can pull this bit off just here. So I've got this pulled away now. I'm not going to pull it right off because I don't need to. I can just pull it back out of the way to get the access I need. So you should be able to see here where I've routed the cable. I'm going to sit the gauge on top of my steering column, and I've brought the cable up there from down under here where the plug was, straight up on top of the steering column. And now we'll get it in sit and we'll work out what we're going to do with the slack cable, and we'll get it going. So I've decided to put the scan gauge here. It warns you not to put it on where the airbag deploys. You wouldn't like to wear a scan gauge in the head.
No, sir.
And we'll just stick it there. We'll give that a bit of a clean up. Get that nice and clean so the thing sticks very well. So you get these little Velcro sticky strips, come with the scan gauge. So we've stuck the little Velcro attachment down where we want the scan gauge to go. That's where I'm sitting mine, just above the steering wheel, but forward enough so I can still see my instrument cluster. So now we'll go about putting the gauge on there so we can tidy up the cable. So we're mounting the gauge to the Velcro. Apply a little bit of pressure, it should stick pretty good. And we cleaned all the surfaces, and I think we'll use the plug on the back of the gauge. There's a plug on the side, there's a plug on the back, and we'll just plug the cable in, just like that. And then we'll tidy up the access cable so it's out of the way. Coiled the cable up here. I'm going to tie it up there. Use a couple of tiny cable ties, and that should keep that well and truly out of the way. So now you just clip in all your dash panels, and that makes the scan gauge install complete. All that's required now is for you to start the car, and the scan gauge will go through initiation process and start receiving data from your main computer. So this process should take about a minute, and then the scan gauge will present you with its home page, and that's the home page there. So we'll go and get some fuel and we'll start setting the scan gauge up by inputting some information. So rightio, we've just filled up. We're going to show you how to use the scan gauge tool to monitor your mileage and price. So we're on the home page. We press more. We press fill up. So we'll just adjust this to get the amount of litres right. So 258 litres we'll say, and we'll hit the done button, and the price of fuel here today was pretty much $2.16, and we'll hit the save button. And now that we've got a full tank of juice, we'll head out on the highway just so we can collect some data for the scan gauge to do some calculations. So this is a gauge screen. It's a screen I run with the majority of the time, and we'll just quickly go through what it's all about. So the TPS, that's the throttle position sensor, has 100 being throttle 100% down. The HPR is the horsepower that we're using, and LHK standing for litres per 100 kilometres, and the TFC is the total fuel cost for this trip. So we'll just engage the trip meter here and run through its functions. CWT means the water coolant temperature. You can see we're just sitting on 90 degrees. The maximum RPM today is 3,127. We've been driving for an hour today, and the maximum speed run was 123. Oops, averaging 57, and it says that it's cost me $17 to drive for an hour. It has been quite windy today, to tell you the truth, and that makes a bit of a difference. 13.6 litres per 100 kilometres. How many litres I used today? I've got the scan function. Says no codes found, no codes found. Scan, no codes found, more, no pending codes. And here's where you can clear your codes when they throw your lights up on your dash. You can find out what your codes are. You can look them up, see what the issue really is. Clear codes, yes, codes cleared. Simple as that. Handy little tool. I think everybody should have one. You can find a complete list of codes through Google. I suggest screenshotting this for future reference. Well, that completes the scan gauge install. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope some people get some info out of it so they can just whack that in themselves. Not very hard. Took about 1.5 beers. If you've liked what you've seen and you want to continue watching us, hit the like and subscribe buttons so you can get updated. It helps our page out. We do appreciate you watching, and we'll sign out and we'll see you on the next one.